Thank you so much for tuning in today. You're listening to The Daily, and I'm your host, Amy Carlin. Every Christmas, I love to revisit A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I grew up going to local theaters in December and seeing the stage adaptations. And then when I was maybe 12 or 13, I read the short story for the first time. My husband and I enjoy reading together, so when we don't go see the play, we sometimes reread the book aloud, playing the characters and enthusiastically narrating. A Christmas Carol tells the story of Ebenezer Scrooge, an old miser who ran a counting house. He is cold, friendless, unkind, and bitter. But one Christmas Eve, after rejecting the good-natured holiday wishes of his clerk, and then those of his nephew, and after refusing to help the poor, he is visited by 4 spirits. The first visit comes from his miserly business partner, who has died years before. Jacob Marley was just like Scrooge during his life, if not worse. He arrives in chains, sorrowful, and he warns Scrooge that Scrooge will meet a similar fate if he doesn't choose to change. Scrooge, of course, is a hardened skeptic who doesn't believe in ghosts, but he's frightened of how real Marley seems. Marley tells Scrooge that he will be visited by 3 more spirits. After Marley leaves, Scrooge returns to his skepticism and simply goes to bed. But he is awakened by the spirit of Christmas past, who shows him joys and sorrows from his youth. Next comes the spirit of Christmas present, or Father Christmas, who shows Scrooge the poverty but happiness of his clerk's family and their young crippled son, Tiny Tim. He also sees the joys of his nephew's Christmas party, which he declined to attend. Finally, the spirit of Christmas yet to come visits and shows Scrooge his own unmourned death, robbers stealing his earthly possessions, and his end, a neglected tombstone. He sees the death of Tiny Tim, so much more sweet and more tenderly mourned than his own. After these visits, Scrooge vows to change and immediately begins to make good on this resolution. He sends his clerk a huge turkey anonymously. He donates to the poor, he goes to church, and he visits his nephew. The next morning, he gives his clerk a raise. Scrooge, we are told, lives true to his vow to change, and as Dickens says, Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. My favorite thing about this story is the reminder that we can choose to change. We are each made up in part by our experiences, but sometimes we allow a painful or difficult past to define us. Instead, we must allow the atonement of Jesus Christ to heal us, and remember that joy is found in the past, the present, and the future. Thank you again for listening today. The Daily is brought to you by The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.